What's up guys, welcome to Rainquill Riffs episode 8, and today is a new gear day. Guitarists and E-kit drummers around the world are celebrating right now because Modern and Massive 2 by Get Good Drums has just released. I've been holding on to like $200 for a long period of time, waiting for something like this to come out, and it finally has. I dropped the money on it instantly, it downloaded super quick, and this is gonna be more than just me riffing on my guitar and creating something. What I wanna do is I wanna show you guys the kind of two-step process I have. First, you start with the initial drums, the default preset, and then you build the mix inside of Get Good Drums mixer, and then after that you route it out into your DAW and kind of use your own plugins to make it sound as good as possible. This isn't going to be a mix walkthrough from me because I'm not a mixing engineer and I can't tell you what to do. There's going to be more qualified guitarists and mixing engineers out there that can tell you what to do way more than I can, but that doesn't mean that I can't show you what I've done to make the drums sound good. And it's really important to get these drums to sound good, because you're paying I paid 179 bucks. You're gonna want them to sound as good as possible. And off the bat, they sound awesome, but they're dry. They don't sound like a processed drum kit. Right off the bat, this is what they're gonna sound like. All I do is drag in a MIDI. This is what it sounds like from the default kit. So this is just a stereo instance. There's no outboard routing. There's absolutely no processing going on. And it sounds awesome for what it is, right? But you want it to sound better. So the next step is going to be mixing inside of the plugin. This is not routed out to my DAW. This is just inside the plugin. And I have all these effects going on. I'm not going to show you everything because that's just going to take forever. In the description, there's going to be a download for this preset. This is going to be, this is the first time I've ever dropped a preset in the description, and I hope it helps out a lot of you guys. I'm sure someone's going to make a YouTube video on this and go through, I don't know how many this is, but it's probably like close to like 120, 130 presets here. And you can just watch that video and hear how all of this sounds. With this new mixed preset here that I've created, it's going to sound like this. And that sounds awesome. You have a lot more compression there. There's a lot more impact in the transients, and the kick is slamming, the snare is slamming. But to my ears, it feels like it just needs a little bit more. So what I did was I routed out all of the tracks here. The kick 1, kick 2, kick sub, and kick 1 shot are going to one track. Snare top, snare bottom, snare 1 shot, 1 track, or the next track. And then I used Slate Digital, their virtual mix rack, on pretty much every track. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that good at mixing. I just spent a lot of time doing it, and I'm passionate about it, just trying to make it sound good. And this, by no means, is perfect. So this, after all of that mixing and all the routing, sounds like this. Now that's what I'm talking about. That sounds incredible. So just for reference, this is what the first one sounds like. Default, raw, unmixed. This is mixed inside of the plugin itself. Sounds like I almost used a different snare there. All of the snares are incredibly similar. They all sound awesome is what I meant to say. I highly recommend that you mix inside of the plugin and do your outboard routing and mixing inside your DAW as well for maximum impact. That sounds incredible. I didn't even write any of that. That was just a MIDI groove that I dropped in there. And yesterday, I thought of a riff to go along with that. I didn't even have any of my master effects on for any of that. It just sounds that good. Today we are using Archetype Nolly, and I can just go over that really quick. We got a compressor, overdrive. I've had a couple comments regarding the tones. If you guys just want to check this out, it's just Archetype Nolly. It's not even Archetype Nolly X. Here's some EQ. I'm just doing, you know, normal settings that you'd normally see on any metal guitar. Condenser 414 with a dynamic 57, kind of blended to taste. I think it sounds awesome. I was playing this riff yesterday and I was just jamming out, and we're only at 110 BPM, but this is just gonna blast my arm off. I'm just gonna get so tired down picking at this speed. Maybe I should tune first. We're good to go. I'm not gonna show what I have already for the bass because that's already written out. I was just so stoked on it yesterday. I just started writing. I was like, no, I gotta save it for the video. play this riff a couple of different ways, but I like the way it sounds. I could just use putting it on the D string with an octave and a third. Just makes it so much more interesting and fun. It does make it harder to play and messy, but I think it sounds great. All right, I know there's some mistakes in there. I was vibing it though. I was physically feeling the riff. Maybe not mentally. Maybe this sounds like complete garbage, but we'll see. Okay, it's not clean enough. I'm gonna delete both of those. Let us skip ahead to the point where I get this right. Okay, sweet. The guitar parts are officially done. They are only mildly edited. It's not like hyper to the grid. Oh, obviously we're gonna have to put a harmony in there. You know how it goes. All right, so after that harmony, we're gonna transition into the fill, the guitar fill. See, I can't play it. I don't have to chop everything in, dude. Don't call me out. All right, let's see if I can play that on my first try. A little bit of editing, why not? I don't know. It's chopped in, but I mean, it still sounds like it wasn't. I'm chopping in the harmony. You can't stop me. You're not the chop police. Give me a break here. Look at this. Zoom in. Zoom in, producer Kyle, on my hand right now. 10 on the low string. 17 on the G string. Are you kidding me? Of course I'm chopping that in. I'm not Paul Gilbert. All right, so the intro we have is just gonna be drums and bass. Let me show you what we got. Okay, that's fun. I want to add two things. We're gonna add some feedback, which is hard to do on amp sims. Maybe I can try and like press my guitar up against my speaker and like turn it up and wave it back and forth, and hopefully I don't damage anything on my table, but we'll see if that works. I'll add some feedback and some chicas there. Oh yeah, that sounds freaking fantastic. All right, let's see what we can do for this feedback idea I have for this intro. So maybe I just hit like a 3rd fret harmonic and just fade it in with the volume. Just automate the volume up. We'll see if that sounds any good or not. What if I reverse it? Reverse items as new take. Okay, I like that. Let's get a better take in there. I was gonna lift it up to the speaker, but I forgot the Performax was on there. Oops, that could have been costly. I don't even know if this is gonna work, but let's try it. I'm gonna turn up the gain on the Focusrite, and maybe we can make something happen. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's just experiment and get creative here. Okay, I kind of like that. Let's turn the gain back down before I forget. Okay, I don't think I actually need to put it up to my speaker. I think just turning up the gain helped. You can just tell by the waveform and how chunky that is. Okay, so let me go back into my samples here. We're gonna add a riser that's gonna end with those feedback guitars, and obviously an impact and a bass drop. Always make sure when you're importing your samples from one project to another, you go into item properties here, right click item properties, and make sure you set the playback rate to 1, because if you don't, then your samples are going to either slow down or speed up depending on which way your BPM went from one project to the next. I found that out the hard way. I don't have a riser. It's just gonna be a reverse cymbal here. You know what? Some reverb on that reverse cymbal would be fantastic. Perfect, that's what I want. The lower impact has a whoosh, and the higher impact has a stronger transient. Paired with a bass drop, this is pretty much perfect. Yeah, that is literally immaculate. That makes me so happy. I'm recording this on Monday and I just saw a comment from someone that said they wanted the Rabea X preset walkthrough. I'm not using, obviously, the synth here. Not using the compressor, using the overdrive, no drive, all level, little bass, little treble, or that rhyme. You just look at these real quick, copy them. I can drop the preset if you really want it. I'll put it in the description as well. So you can download this preset. Just make sure, just in the back of your mind, just know that this is not going to be completely perfect for your mix every single time. Just like what I went through with these drums at the beginning of this video, I want to make it completely transparent that every E drum kit that you buy, all the software that you buy for tones, not once have I really found a perfect mix ready preset. And that's frustrating because you really want plug and play. You want ease of access because there's just so much out there and you want things to just work the first time because you're spending good money on it. You're working hard, you come home and you want to play guitar and you want it to sound good. But it's not enough. You gotta do more work. You gotta put in more work. You gotta make the effort, make the tone sound as good as possible. Use your ears, scroll around. I use Rabea EQ and I literally just boost. And whatever I don't like, I reduce by like 2, 3, 5 decibels, whatever it takes. Keep that in mind when you download these presets. More work will need to be done. Anyways, let's get back into this riff here. Where we left off before my camera died and I got my taquitos, we were gonna put a lead line in. It's just gonna be an octave, kind of like what Burry... Dude. So in Burry's latest video, actually I think his 29th episode, at the end, he was just doing some octave chords there. I think that's also what we're gonna do for this, to kind of fill out the mid-range. Also, while I was gone, I changed up the guitars. And while it's not the exact tone that I was going for, it fits the mix better. And I'm gonna have to take the arrow to the knee there and just go with the flow because it sounds better. I really wanna... Those open strings just ring out too far and it really gets cluttered. We're changing up the riff a little bit. I didn't need to hit play there. Okay, so let's do some octave guitars here. Maybe we tune first. Someone needs to patch the G string, bro. How long have guitars been around for? When were guitars invented? And of course, that's gonna be tucked back in the mix quietly. All right, so I just did a couple mix adjustments here. It's not perfect. I know it's not perfect. Over the next upcoming Rainquill episodes, I'm gonna be dialing in Archetype Nolly, I'm gonna be dialing in Modern Massive 2, and I'm looking forward to improving with every episode. So let us have the full mix listen through. And on that note, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I upload Wednesdays at 11. So until next time, peace.